Okay. And um, what about going longer than 7 days? I know at Dr. Goldhammer's retreat, they often go longer than that. So if you're healthy, do you still is it better to go 14 days if you can?
We don't have any indication that that would be the case. It's sort of, you can view fasting as a kind of therapy. Should you take chemotherapy drugs if you don't have cancer? Probably not, right? Now, fasting is healthier for you than taking chemotherapy. So I'm doing a little bit of an apple and orange comparison here, but it is similar in the respect that, the reason to do the prolonged fast is to sort of, tie up any loose ends, to catch you in any little slippages you've had. Maybe you weren't perfect on that, whole food plant diet throughout the year. Maybe you had a few glasses of wine. Maybe you went out to dinner and had, restaurant food that's fatty, oily, salty, sugary, and all that stuff. The prolonged fast, the hope is, now again, I should emphasize, we do not have research to verify this, but we do have clinical observations that suggest this may be the case. The hope is that that sort of wraps up all those, cleanses all those minor problems that might have happened in you. And for that matter, most of us are breathing polluted air. We're exposed to other toxins and carcinogens. So a week-long fast may be useful for that. We don't have any indication that a 2-week fast or 3-week fast or 4-week fast is useful. If you have enough fat stores and you're not having any terrible symptoms, it probably will not hurt you to do a longer fast. And if you did have something deeper wrong with you that fasting could repair, then certainly a longer fast would be helpful, but it's all guesswork, right? We just simply don't know. The longer fasts that you're talking about are usually used by people who have some kind of disorder. And, if you walk in the door at True North or at Buchinger Wilhelmi, the largest fasting clinic in Germany, if you walk in the door there and you've had rheumatoid arthritis for 10 years, or you've had type 2 diabetes for 5 years, you're not going to reverse that in a single fast of a week. You may need a 2-week fast or 4-week fast, or even a 40-day fast if you have the fat stores and can do that. For that matter, you may need to repeat that fast every 6 months or year or so if it seems to be helping your condition, but your condition hasn't completely gone away with that amount of fasting.
Now, what if someone says, it sounds great, but the next 2 years, I am not going to have a chance to go to a fasting clinic. So I'm going to do the daily 16 or 18 hours, but I also want to get the benefit of longer fasts. What do you tell someone who is not leaving their home, but is very motivated and will follow careful instructions? Should they do water fasting, and for how long and how often?
Yeah, so there is what I tell them is what the doctors who I've interviewed have told me, and that is that they're split on their opinions. So Alan Goldhammer, for instance, says no one should ever fast on their own, doing a prolonged water-only fast on their own at home for more than 24 hours. He may even say for no more than 18 hours, if I recall. And the reason for that is there are people out there, there are very, very few of them, and we're talking rare disorders that these people have, where they can't process the byproducts that your body develops on a fast. Some people can't even run their bodies on their own fat as fuel during a fast. And of course, that's what you run on for most of your fasts is your fat stores. So if you can't use that for fuel, you have a high probability of ending up in a coma and maybe even dying if things get bad enough. So he says, because there are people like that out there, and we don't know the identity of absolutely every single one of them, no one should fast for more than 24 hours on their own. The other view, by people like, let's say, Dr. Michael Clapper, who worked for Alan Goldhammer and who has been on this conference, I'm pretty sure, multiple times as well, is that, look, yes, these people exist. They are exceedingly rare. They just simply do not really enter into the equation. They're that rare. So if you are in good health, meaning you have no diagnoses, you don't suspect any diagnoses, no disorder going on, you're not taking any medications, because medications, the effects of medications, both the intended effects and the side effects of medications get greatly magnified on a fast. If you don't have any of those things and you're basically healthy, you can fast on your own for up to a week. Just pay attention to, if anything starts feeling funny or wonky or something, break your fast. But for those people, fast at home for a week. A perhaps compromise is that there are a few places, not many, that will supervise your fast remotely. But I think there are only maybe 2 places that will possibly even do that. I have a list of fasting doctors on my website, which is stevehendricks.org. If you go to the fasting frequently asked questions page, you can see the very short list there. But what they will do is they will say, I will supervise your fast remotely so long as you can get into your local hospital or clinic or whatever and do periodic blood work or urine work. And it is vastly cheaper than going to a fasting clinic. And obviously, you can do it from the convenience of your own home.
So based on all of your experience, and assume we do want to do something on our own, because assume for many people it's not realistic. So it's easier to do it at home with a supervised fasting. Again, is 7 days once a year the right amount, or is that too much for people? Should we do a 3? Should we do a 5? Like, what from experience? And as we want to get the benefits of fasting,
Yeah, exactly. 7 days, I think, is actually a very good amount. Again, you start going beyond 7, things can happen. Shorter than 7, there's some controversy. Now, if you want to do a little 3-day fast every so often, I have not seen any research that says that's extremely harmful. All right. You're not going to hurt yourself. And if you want to sort of try out fasting, with shorter fasts before you do a 7-day fast, let me try a 3-day fast. Let me try a 4-day fast, see how it feels. I've not seen any evidence that that's going to be harmful. However, as a kind of repeated practice, there are concerns fasting doctors have expressed to me. And the concern is this. So our body wants to run on glucose. That's its favorite fuel. It's just the carbohydrates from our food, right? When we take that glucose away, it switches over to burning our fat. It breaks down the fat into ketone bodies, and that's what it actually runs on, is the ketone bodies. Here's the catch. Your body doesn't just instantly switch the second you stop eating and run out of your glucose and glycogen stores. Glycogen's just chains of glucose that we keep stored around our body for backup fuel. You run out of your glucose and glycogen. Your body doesn't say, oh, okay, great. Now time to switch over to ketones. What your body does is it says, well, I'm anthropomorphizing a little here, but it basically says we want to make this as hard as possible. And so what it does is it burns, it still wants to have glucose. So it takes some of your protein and it breaks that down. And in a process called gluconeogenesis, it creates glucose from your protein. Now, that's a very inefficient process. It takes a lot of energy, which is why a lot of people, when they fast, find that days roughly when this happens, days say day 2 through day 3, maybe day 4 of the fast, depends on the person, their history, their metabolism, and so on. They feel like crap. It just feels terrible. And there's a reason for that. It's because their body is doing a lot of hard work. All right. We also don't know if you go through this protein burning phase, right? So let's say you just fasted 4 days. Your body switches over to protein. It's starting to burn a little bit of fat and ketone bodies as well, but it doesn't really fully get into ketosis, that state where it's burning all those ketone bodies like more than anything in the world. It doesn't get there. It just reaches that very difficult protein stage. Some fasting doctors have expressed to me, well, we are concerned about putting the body through the trauma of day 2, 3, and 4 of the fast without getting to that much more gentle ketosis fat burning stage where we think the repairs probably happen with much more than they happen in the earlier stage. So there's the concern that shorter fasts could be doing you a little harm. I will emphasize that that's concern. It's not, it's theory. It's not based in, we have research, we have studies that show this, that, and the other. And the final thing I'll add on that point is when people hear, oh, well, gosh, if I fast, I'm going to burn some of my protein. If I do a week-long fast, I'm going to have 2, 3, 4 days in there where I'm going to be burning some protein. They get really concerned. They imagine their muscles being eaten away or their heart being, emaciated or something. That's not what happens. You may lose a teeny bit of muscle, but here's what is going on, at least what it seems to be that's happening. And that's that when you fast, your body has a preference for breaking down unuseful things first. All right. So it seems in certainly other tissue that your body gets rid of things that your body doesn't need. It's quite probable from the research, it's not a sure thing, but it looks quite probable that the protein that's burned is old and useless protein that would have probably given you trouble somewhere down the line. Could have been defective or worn out in some way. What happens is you get rid of it during your fast. After your fast, when you refeed, you regenerate it with healthy, you replace it with healthy new protein. So that loss of protein may actually be a good thing, but because we don't know for sure, and it could be a very taxing, slightly harmful thing, fasting doctors, that's why they say, please don't come to our clinic and fast with us for 4 days. Come and fast with us for a week or more. It's not just that they want to make money off of you. They actually do have a pretty good hypothesis in a kind of first do no harm kind of way. Like, look, we don't know, but we have this concern. So let's just be sure. Let's do a fast of no shorter than 5 or 6 days, ideally 7.